Shows that make you laugh. Shows that make you think. Music that moves you. It could only be one place. Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
Thank you. You found a different song for me. Love this guy, though. I had him blasting going down the highway.
You underestimated greatly. Most number ones ever. How long did it really take me?
Sorry, I was getting lost in the music. Welcome, everybody, to another fun edition of What's Up with Kobylt and Friends. We are here today with two really terrific people I'm very excited about interviewing. We have got Jesse, say your last name, introduce us.
Snider.
Jesse Snider, and in studio. Voiceover actor, among others. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do?
I'm Jesse Blaze Snider. I am a musician, I'm a voiceover actor, and I'm a comic book writer.
And we have you in studio because your story really touched me in particular. You just had a little baby about a month ago, born on the side of the road by the off the 405 freeway. Right? Is that right?
That's not quite accurate, although that is what it said on the birth certificate because they could not say speeding down the 405 in the middle of the road. That wasn't an option. So it was not on the
You
the
were
side
still
of the road.
driving when this child was...
Oh, yeah. My wife didn't tell me what was going on, so I literally was trying to get her to the hospital, have the baby there, when I looked over and I saw the baby's head in between her legs and went, oh, this is happening now.
How does this happen? I had 3 kids, and even just getting to the hospital, I was screaming. This woman is giving birth on the as you're driving down the freeway quietly and just like any
Very
other day.
quietly.
What a lady you're married to. All right, we're going to get into that in a minute.
She's a Viking.
She's got to be. I want to meet this woman because I need her to rub off on me a little bit. What a lovely person. And, oh my gosh, your name. Sorry, I've been pronouncing it all morning, but I'm going to screw it up.
Bjoern Kommerell.
Bjoern. Okay, thank you, Bjoern, for being here. A little applause. We have an enormous studio audience here, so you can hear them clapping for my people. And you are a very famed photographer, and I'm thrilled to have you because you're going to be shooting me next month. Yes. And you're sizing me up as we talk and trying to figure out what you're going to do with this personality.
Absolutely.
When you get me in your studio. It's like first you'll have to quiet me down, and then you'll just have to figure out what to do. And but you have shot so many people, from Elton John to, I read Justin Bieber. You shot him as well.
Yep.
Cindy Crawford. I mean, just rattle off a couple, and then we'll get into that later too.
Oh, the list. After 6,000 jobs, there's so many names, from Tyler Posey, the young Teen Wolf, the Supernatural guys, Jensen and Jared. In the TV world, I think there's hardly any TV show that I turn on and I haven't shot anybody in it.
That's incredible. I mean, honestly,
This is such a funny conversation if you just tuned in. I think there's pretty much no one who I haven't shot. I've shot them all. I shoot
Years,
everyone.
the longer Hollywood's like this, the longer you stick around, and then people stick to it too, and then they have their success. So it's that, I think, is Hollywood, right? And
well, I tell you, people in Hollywood, and you know this, you grew up the son of a pretty well-known guy. We'll get into that too. Dee Snider of Twisted Sister, right?
Yeah, I didn't grow up in Hollywood. I moved here like 3 years ago. I was very resistant to come to this place.
Where did you guys grow up?
I'm from New York.
Me
And I
too.
lived on Long Island. I mean, I didn't live it was very separate from the business.
Mm-hmm. That's really important. You know, we ended up raising our kids here, and I hope we did a decent enough job because we're also from back east, New Jersey, New York, that whole,
Hey, represent.
hey. So that's where I'm from, and clearly you're from Germany. We'll get into that as well. And it's very different coming here, and it's really different raising your kids here. So it's challenging, and you've got 4 of them here now that you're raising.
4.
But the people I meet in Hollywood, and I meet them, of course, all the time with what I do, they're really hardworking people. That's number one. There's a real fallacy out there that people aren't or whatever. But you really, to make it in this town, you got to be really hardworking and just stick your nose in it and just wake up every morning and get to work. And obviously, I guess that's what you
I
want.
have to admit to that. My biggest resistance to coming here was because I was already the child of a celebrity. Everybody always assumed that I was going to be some spoiled kid, which I just despised that idea. And people would assume that I was from California because, well, you're the child of that's where the people who are spoiled and don't do work.
I didn't
Yeah.
assume you were spoiled because just talking to you, it's clear you're not. But I did maybe assume that you were from here. So that's a good point.
Well, and then when you come out here, it's a hustle. It's a hustle everywhere. I mean, in this economy, I sound so old, but I mean, honestly, it just at this stage of the game, it costs so much to live. If you do not own your house, well, you are constantly living to pay your bill just to rent. And I mean, everybody has to hustle in this business, voiceover, entertainment, music, on any level. It is so difficult to make a good living doing it.
So again, you grew up the son of a really, really well-known musician. How was that growing up on Long Island? You said, I mean, come on, Dad has quite a reputation.
My father is probably the most normal, all the people who are constantly calling foul on, immoral type things, they're the ones who have something going on with them. And they
Don't
get
we know it,
discovered
right?
all the time. My father, the one who everybody wanted to point, oh, look, he's dressed up in what? Yeah. And other than that, he's just a
That's
dad,
his
a very
act.
valued, member of the community, somebody who gives back, somebody who donates his time, somebody who cares, somebody who's a good friend. And it's not, he's putting on a performance. He's doing something.
That's his art.
Exactly.
That's his art. And how many kids did you? How many siblings do you have?
I have 3 siblings. So
So
but
you're one of 4?
I'm one of 4 as well, yeah.
Wow. And then you have 4 kids?
Yeah, I'd always planned on 4. Me and my wife have been together 16 years, and since we were like the first year of our relationship, we were like, 4 kids would be nice one day.
That is, I love your story. And if you don't mind, I want to talk a bit about him. He's here because I read about your 4th child being born. Now, I said on the side of the road. That wasn't what happened. You were driving your wife to the hospital last month, was it, right? To have her
almost
baby.
a full month now.
Right. Ooh. And there she was. You just looked over and there she was giving birth.
Yeah, well, we've had some scares in the past because my wife doesn't, she's never wanted to use an epidural and any pain medicine, and they kind of tell you if you don't want to plan to not have pain meds and then end up using them, don't go immediately to the hospital as soon as you start laboring, because you're gonna be somewhere uncomfortable and you might end up going, oh, screw it, give me the pain meds. So she has always labored at home for a very long time until we go to the hospital.
Look, having had 3 kids, you've got to be disciplined to do that. You have to do your breathing. You have to focus. That was not me. That went out the window, and I just went all emotion.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people, because the pain was just so unbearable.
It was funny. The morning of, her mom was sort of like peer pressuring her to sort of like be more reactive to the fact that she was in labor. And she kind of just because she was just like, you're in labor. This is a thing. And my wife was kind of just like, to make a point, calm the hell down. This is how I do it. You can do it whatever way you want to.
What a
But
woman.
we're staying here and let's play cards. Let me distract you, mother, so that I can, do this my way. And she ended up probably, I think, sticking it out of the house a little longer because she was just like, oh, I'll let my mother calm down.
All right, who
It's
of you
fine."
out there can do that, who've had a kid, can just sort of, grab a deck of cards, go out and garden and talk to the other 3 kids and make a phone call to your girlfriend, all while you're in labor and waiting too long, getting in the car. I mean, for those of you who aren't from Los Angeles, you got in the car, you were going down the Sepulveda Pass toward the UCLA, the Ronald Reagan Medical Center.
Yeah, but we're about a half an hour away from Ronald Reagan.
You pushed it.
So I mean, and we have to. I mean, we're literally, we gave birth in the middle of the 405. I mean, and that was just what happened to be where Waze told us to go, and it wasn't like crazy traffic on the 405 or anything. But basically, right before we left the house, and my wife didn't tell me this, but she had like sort of looked at me very sincerely and been like, I think I made a mistake. I think I pushed it too far. And but I immediately went into panic mode. I was like, no, it's fine. I'm gonna get the kids in the car with your parents. They'll take the minivan. We'll go in the other car. Everything's gonna be cool. We're gonna get there.
So it's just the 2 of you in that car.
It's just the
so
two
it's
of
not
us.
like you had a whole car full of witnesses.
Yeah,
to this.
so it was just her and I. And right before we left the house, she said she stopped at the mirror and she was having like, sort of this really powerful contraction. And she looked down the hallway and she went, should I go turn on the bathtub and just
wait.
give birth there? And but she
God,
didn't
this
say
woman.
that to me. And I just went, all right, come on, chop, chop. Let's get the hell out of this house. Got to get you to the hospital, And so she got in the car and she was like, all right. But literally 5 minutes down the road, I was making like a little bat turn, to get onto the 405 at Burbank, and her water broke when I turned, And then she told me that her water broke. Well, thankfully, and everybody always, it's so funny how many people are obsessing over like, got to get a new car. No, I didn't have to get a new car.
Don't.
I had
People
a
are
giant,
ridiculous.
I had a big black towel down in case her water broke. And not only did it get her water breaking, it got everything from the pregnancy. It's like nothing ever happened in there. So anyway.
My gosh, you are disciplined people.
We've
you have a
done
little
this
towel
before.
down, you've got it all together, you just sort of fold it up and out it goes like nothing ever happened.
Pretty
You are
much.
pretty incredible people. The calm wife, the husband who's got it all under control. Please come spend time with me for a week in my house because it's not quite like that.
Well, we try. And I mean, when we got on to the get on ramp, she said that she knew like that was it. She all of a sudden, like after her water broke, she had a contraction and she felt she said she couldn't control it. Just her body contracted. And all of a sudden she was like, the baby is in between my legs right now. Like not like is in between, like in her groin. And she's just like, well, what do I do here? I'm like,
Wait, stop.
Yeah.
Please. Chime in, by the way, whenever you want. So she just said, oh, the baby's in between my
She
legs.
didn't
What do I
say
do
that.
here? I mean, that calmly? Please.
In her mind.
In her mind?
said it.
She didn't even say a word?
Say a word to me.
This woman needs to go on the speaking circuit.
Yeah.
She's incredibly calm.
Well, I will tell you what, and I said
You
this
agree?
out loud to her, and she has confirmed it. But basically, what happened, I think, with her, is she felt responsible. She just went, I played it too fast and loose, and now I'm about to have my baby in the car, and this is my fault. And if I get this wrong, if something goes wrong with my baby, then it's my fault, and I can't live with that. So I need to make sure that I do this right. And
I like that.
Yeah,
So yeah,
and
she just went right
like,
into responsibility mode.
Exactly. So she's not saying anything to me, and I am like zipping up the ramp, and like I'm gonna get there, and she's breathing, but like I mean,
Did you
heavy
call
breaths, like yoga breaths, not like.
Did you call like the in-laws, in the minivan out back and say, I think we're about to have the baby here, or it's coming out. She's coming out.
I was working on calming them down. So like my whole drive initially was like, reaching out to my mother, reaching out to the people who needed to come to the hospital, and then also getting calls from her mother, who was kind of freaking out because she had said that she felt she left too late.
And where was her mom at the time?
In the other car in the minivan with my kids. So her mom was apparently freaking out the whole time, and I was just like, no, it's fine, everything's gonna be fine. And I literally had just finished hanging up the phone with her, being like, no, it's fine, everything's gonna be fine. Don't worry, we're gonna get there. I need to drive. When weird things start happening in the passenger seat, and basically, I've got two hands on the wheel, and I'm determined to get there. And she's not having the baby in the car; she's gonna have the baby at the hospital, just as we planned. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, "Did she just pull her pants down?
Oh,
Why did she pull her pants down? That's weird. Never mind. I gotta drive. Why'd she pull her pants down? I can't think of why.
you're not
I'm sure
even
there's a reason.
talking to her.
I'm not
I would
saying
be
anything.
screaming. My husband would be like,
I was,
"Oh my god!"
I was
mean,
scared to ask her what was going on. To be honest,
So
I was just,
no conversation.
No, we hadn't talked.
Who does
this
this?
is happening.
I'm
I
yelling.
will constantly
just
tell you what I
excuse me.
do.
She did not say a word to me.
I want to meet her.
and then
immediately.
I was afraid to ask. I guess I was afraid to ask why her pants were down.
Interesting emotional state to
Yes,
be in.
exactly.
Okay, wait,
And-
let's say this again.
Yeah.
You're her husband, driving her on the way to have a baby, and you're afraid to ask why her pants are down.
Yes, so she pulls her pants down to her knees. And again, this is just out of the corner of my eye. I'm driving, speeding. And I'm wondering why. A little premature, I think. And then I see her hands in between her legs, and she's just kind of like feeling down there. And I start going, why is she doing that now? But again,
Did you
I
kind of
haven't
know,
asked.
but you didn't want to go there?
I haven't asked. I'm afraid to think that, but I'm like just sort of curious. And basically after I guess maybe like a minute has passed, and I'm just kind of like, I should maybe look over there. And I just kind of look in between her legs, and I see the
baby.
baby's entire head, shoulders behind it, just right there. And I'm just and the funny thing is, I remember this all as one motion, and I remember it like slow motion. But
Those things do
it had
tend to
have been
happen-
faster than this.
They happen in slow motion.
But literally,
those
I just
moments.
went from like speeding to looking, and then I look up at her, and we lock eyes, and my eyes are like, "You're having the baby," and she's like, "Now do you understand what is happening?"
Did she at least yell then? Did this woman ever
No.
yell or
On
scream?
On TV, they
No.
always yell and scream. And
In
No.
person, you're yelling and
No.
screaming. I'm feeling it
No.
for her. Do
And
you understand?
she literally,
God.
she just literally just tells me, with her eyes, like, now do you get what is happening? And I'm kind of like, I get what is happening
Were you
now.
driving or did you pull over?
I'm still driving. I'm still speed. Like I said, this
God.
must have happened in such a faster way than I remember it. But without waiting, after looking me in the eyes, and now I know what's going on, she doesn't wait for a contraction. And I thought I must have had the story wrong after the fact, but this is true. And then she told me that this is what happened. She does not wait to contract, and she just goes, and mind you, when the baby came out, she had already felt around the baby's neck to make sure that there was no umbilical cord around the baby's neck, which kudos to her. I couldn't believe that she was, but that shows
That's
she
your
was like,
mother's instinct
I'm going
right
to get
there.
this. I'm going to make sure that this is happening. My baby is going to be okay. This is going to be okay.
What a mother.
And she basically looks at me, reaches down to the baby, and she pushes with all of her might and just goes, and pulls the baby
Do we
onto her
have that
belly.
picture? A picture of her with the baby? There was a shot. I think there was an article.
From the car.
From the
I shot a little
car.
video.
Where is it? Do
I
we
have one on
that?
my phone.
Do we happen to have that?
We don't have the video, no.
We don't have it. Oh, I should have had you send
Go
it in.
online. It's viral. It's like 2.3 million views. or
How
something
how
like
can
that.
people find this? Because it's kind of crazy.
It's on my Instagram. If you go to Snap Jesse at Snap Jesse on Instagram, it's not too deep into it. It's like
Can you
from
find
like a
it,
week
Kurt?
ago or whatever.
I'll look it up. I'll try.
yeah,
to.
yeah.
would you while we're talking? That'd be really cool. I really want to see
But
that.
but yeah, I mean,
It'd be a great
she-
segue into our photographer.
She
So-
literally just delivered the own baby, and I have to say.
Wait, and then the kids.
The baby screamed like the normal amount, like the perfect amount,
Wow.
and then calmed down immediately as it was on my wife, and it was on my wife as she was on my wife.
I know you
And,
say it right until
yeah.
like it's got a proper cleaning and all
Yeah.
that stuff, and then you look at it and go,
Oh, it's a baby.
Oh, hi, Parker. So, yes, her name is Parker. Whoa, let's just mention.
Sure.
She was 8 pounds, 10 ounces.
The biggest
We're
baby
not
my
talking
wife
a
has had.
We're not talking a 5-pound child. We're talking an 8-pound,
Yeah.
10-ounce baby.
She had fed the baby at least once or twice, but by the time they measured the baby, so figure the baby might have been a little lighter than that.
So the little girl came in with a full stomach.
She fed
Oh
the
my
baby on the
gosh.
way home and on the way to the hospital in the car.
Oh, this woman is superwoman, okay?
So-
I mean, I found it almost unbearable and impossible to breastfeed. It took me days to figure it out. This woman gives birth in a car, plops the baby on her breast, breastfeeding, giving full nutrition, not crying. This is outstanding.
I can tell you though,
I'm jealous.
Well, I mean, we're not entirely super people. We're educated people, and honestly, the best advice that I can give to everybody out there is when we first found out that we were pregnant, we were educating ourselves, and initially that was kind of pretty mainstream type stuff. But then we watched a documentary called "The Business of Being Born," and as soon as we saw that, we literally changed everything that we were doing overnight, and we opted to give birth at Stony Brook Hospital in New York, where we used to live, where they had midwives, a group of them who were working out of a hospital. So in case anything were to go wrong, you'd have a doctor
Right.
there, but you could plan to have a birth that was not interfered with. And unfortunately, statistics show in this country that birth is interfered with constantly.
No, it really is.
And the drugs that they give you, like Pitocin, which
Okay,
will
stop.
enhance.
That's
yeah,
what
sure.
I had
Yeah.
because my 3 kids had no interest in coming out. None. I didn't either. So we had to just be. They insisted on inducing me, and
Were
that's
you
another.
lying down on your back?
Yeah, which is wrong too.
Exactly.
This
And
is
that's
not
one of the
normal.
biggest things. I would say the biggest thing for my wife
Sorry,
seemed
I
to be,
swear we're getting to you, but
Yeah.
isn't this
And
fascinating?
I hate speaking on behalf of women as a man, but I have at least educated myself a lot, and I mean my wife will back up everything I say here. The position in which she gave birth, and it was different each time as she was given more leeway. She was on her knees, and the baby came out like a dream, so easy.
You're not supposed to be at a 45-degree angle as you're giving
Exactly.
birth. Does this make sense?
Well,
No.
and the idea that you got Pitocin is basically what I found out in the Business of Being Born. You came in, maybe slightly earlier because you were a little freaked out about it, as your first baby or whatever.
No, mine were so late. They insisted on
were they late?
inducing me. Very.
did they?
had no interest in making
Oh,
an
because they were
appearance.
late. Well, see, that's another thing. And I mean, granted, there's a lot of different debates on whether or not your baby's late or not. But a lot of times they sit you down once you've gone into labor, and then somebody who's laboring on their back, and their labor stops, and then they give them Pitocin to get the labor to kick back in. But
And
the
that's
Pitocin
painful.
can
I'm
be
going to
very
tell you,
painful.
that's what's
Yeah.
painful. And that's why I spent my entire day screaming and that they could hear me down the hallway because Pitocin induces those contractions and they are magnified by like 1,000. It's like an earthquake
But
or something.
literally, like all of that was what we decided, like, not to be a part of. And because we went with the midwives end up kind of teaching you how to give birth yourself. And literally the first baby we had, Logan, she did pull that baby out. After the baby was partially the way out, the midwife was like, do you want to take your baby? And she, without thinking of it, she was like, I guess. And she pulled the baby out that time. So we had a little bit of practice and a little bit more education because we were going with, midwives who are all about teaching you how to do it on your own without any help from
you are such an incredibly cool guy. And by cool, I just don't mean just your whole demeanor. I love this. What's that?
Coolest man alive.
Is that what it said? That is amazing.
Great tattoo.
It's true. Okay. Let's ask you this. Now, here's a segue for you. Do you ever do family portraits? There you go.
Once in a blue moon.
I mean, how impressive was that, huh? So go ahead. So you don't really do them. I mean, let's face it. You're shooting Elton John, Justin Bieber, Cindy Crawford.
But there's
You're not
photographers
really doing...
like David Bailey who would die to shoot the birth of his child, and he was in the room and photographed it. Like, I would not, never.
Yeah, I didn't want to
Tell
get
me
down
a little
there.
bit about you personally. Oh, no.
I didn't want to get down in the business.
I didn't want to,
I never did. Never got, nothing too crazy. Nothing I couldn't take back.
Yeah.
Exactly. Nothing you couldn't take back. You don't need too much in there, right?
Yeah,
You
I
just
didn't want it to become a horror movie. I like that area of my wife.
Exactly. You just keep it back there where it belongs, or in the car where it happened for you, and then you didn't get to see too much,
No.
except a beautiful child being born.
It was unbelievable, miraculous.
I'm going to get back to you for a minute, but let me ask you something. So, no family portraits in your background, but you came here from Germany. You were born there, and I find your story very, very fascinating as well. You kind of got tired of the life you were living there and just sort of packed up, came here, worked your way up as a headshot photographer, and here you are shooting some of the most famous people in the world now. Love these stories. You worked your way all the way up. Tell me a little bit about some of your favorite people to shoot.
There's so many.
I
Like for
can't
me,
imagine.
the most important experience was when I first got out here and I just got my master's in business, and I had this outlook of this boring like consultant dude, chief crunching numbers, who is just looking at an internal cost accounting system, which is for me the most boring, dry thing there is.
That's what you did out here?
No, that's what I studied.
Okay.
So I have a master in economics. So a week after I graduated, I just packed my bag to see if there's something out there. And I had all these Peter Lindbergh photos and Herb Ritz back then, and it was the shit. And while I was studying for my finals, I had all these photos all over my kitchen. I'm like,
this is back in Germany.
yeah.
Okay.
And I thought, this guy can do it. Why not me? So that's when I came out, and I knew one guy who did music videos, and he let me photograph on his set. So that's when I immediately started to shoot Tears for Fears, Chaka Khan, and all these, like, I have photos of Jay-Z in the 90s. And so that was a fun opportunity to work with high-end professionals. And it gave me confidence, like, oh, okay. And then I sold the photos to the label. And
Do you know Jeff Kravitz?
Jeff Kravitz, no.
He's a really well-known rock and roll photographer. He's a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And he sort of happened into it, too. He was stumbling around drunk half the time, and a friend of his just said, yeah, all right, please, just come. You can take pictures of these guys backstage. And lo and behold, they just had an exhibit of him in a museum here in L.A. of his work. So I get you.
So I was on these sets, but then I got bored. You know, in a music video, after a while, they changed sets, and I just got bored. So I wanted to do shit.
Yeah.
So, hey, let's do something. I took the actors that were on the set or models. I'm like, let's do stuff. And one guy said, these are cool headshots. And I thought, headshots is beneath me. You know, I don't do headshots. My shit should be in the Guggenheim. I should be in the biggest galleries. But then I thought, well,
Why
it's
not?
Why not?
Everybody
It's a
needs
fun
a good
thing.
headshot.
It's like everybody needs them. If you're a big name or a newbie.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I got a new hair color. And I thought, okay, that sounds kind of fun. We can make him look interesting and good. So I see my photo shoots more like even though it's called headshots and I'm not so crazy about the name, but then I try to come up with images. If there's a thing about you and Rolling Stone, hey, let's use that shot that Bjoern did. That's my goal.
Yeah.
And then it became fun. Like every day was an opportunity to create cool shit.
Yeah, no, I like to write background music for, I don't care what TV show, as small as it might be, because if you hear it in the background, you go, what a great song that is. Well, then there you go. I'm a rock star tomorrow, and that's happened for you so many times.
I'm the one who would download your music because I do that religion.
Story, whether we're writing about why you're shooting, because that's what makes you so good. That's what brings it's your passion.
I think the lesson here is that economics major.
I heard that. I know. By the way, I was a math major originally because I was very good at math because I didn't know what the hell to do when I went to college. I'm like, I don't know. What do you do? Major in math at Rutgers.
I think, you know what I think forces a major change in life is when you're really pissed at your situation.
And you're bored to death.
The best thing you can wish for your friend, get pissed. get really angry at your current situation. Only then you force a change.
That's why everybody says
Well,
if you want
unless
to be
you're
a great
complacent.
songwriter, go out and get your heart broken.
Yeah.
You need something. Something has to give.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but you've been with the same girl forever. It seems like you never got your heart broken.
I was an emotional, crazy person. I had like chronic body pain most of my life, and I was like, you
good.
put yourself through your own tortures, and you know what? If I hadn't tortured myself in various ways, I would be a crap artist. But I'm a great artist because I tortured the hell out of myself.
I love it. Same with me. I mean, I'm a storyteller. I love to hear
Yeah.
people's stories and have them tell it. Same thing. I mean, you really have to go through shit to do that. I mean, if you're... Oh my God, is that me?
This is my parking meter, apparently. I didn't think it
Well,
would
honey,
go
you're
off
gonna
so
get a ticket.
egregiously.
This is what we do here. Alarms. I thought that was me.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't imagine that it was going to be like a dinner bell.
No, that's the same one I have in the morning to try and get up at 5:30 in the morning to work out. Anyway, let's go back
Yeah.
to you.
Stories.
Your stories. You're in the studio, bored to death.
Bored to death, and then I started shooting, and then I just quickly, sometimes in life you do the right thing with the right people. And it was just pure luck. Then was this management called Handprint back in the late 90s, and they represented everybody. They called me, and I walk in, and there's photos of Jennifer Lopez, Will Smith, Matthew McConaughey, Nicole Kidman, all their clients.
Wait, let's see some of your stuff. Can we
And,
pop it up there? Let's see some of your... We have some... If you want to just sort of... We can just kind of go through them.
That's
Who are
Anthony
we looking-
LaPaglia,
Okay, keep going. Oh,
Without a Trace.
Joe.
And that's Joe Manganiello. He actually came to me.
He's so
and
handsome.
he was in the first Spider-Man movie. He played Kirsten Dunst's boyfriend. Mm-hmm. And
Flash
then
Thompson.
He
Good.
He
Better
actually
known to you
fell off
comic
the
fans.
wagon. Fell off the wagon. And then he said, dude, I've screwed stuff up in my life. I'm working construction right now. This is the last shot I give at acting. So he shows up with one jacket, this green thing, and his long hair and the beard. And he says, just shoot me, dude. Let's see what comes out. And then
Wow.
from that moment on, it went up. So then he calls me again, like, I have short hair now. I started working again, like crazy. And then I shot him again. I shot him a third time, and he's so cool. He's so loyal. And
I love that.
And look
that.
at him now. I just recently, like 3 days ago, I shot this beautiful kid, Blake Michael, who played his younger version on True Blood. Mm-hmm. And so I texted him the photo. I'm like, hey, I'm shooting the younger you today. So he texts back one of his photos and goes, the younger me. And goes, Sophia loves this photo. Which, of course, gives you a kick. That sometimes, people go their ways and you don't know, do they still, like, remember or whatnot? And so that they still have that photo as a friend in their lives, that a photo of you that travels with you through your whole life, I think it's a beautiful thing. And that I can give that to you, it's such a...
Family friends is Mark Weiss, who's a big 1980s rock and roll photographer, and I have photo shoots of my dad in full makeup for this calendar shoot with me in a diaper just walking around. And he is, as I've grown up, and I've been in various punk bands and bands like growing up, he's been my photographer, and I have like
so you have the same guy.
Yeah, like passes on. I haven't been able to use him in a while because I'm in LA now and he's in New York, but it's nice. It is very cool to have that continuity.
Yeah, and I honestly, I have to say, I make more of a difference with people who really need help to take better photos. Like, I wouldn't be of great help to George Clooney or Brad Pitt. They know what they're doing. They have millions of photos. It would be another photo shoot
So what are you
on
gonna
a
do?
Tuesday.
What-
So the appreciation of somebody who is like, wow, this photo really made a huge difference. It put me out there. And they embrace it. I truly have the feeling I make a bigger difference. And plus the whole atmosphere on the shoots. Like, I shoot Elton John, sure, and the night before in the hotel, I was all like, I was envisioning me and Elton, and it's going to be a great thing.
A bunch of different pairs of
I had
glasses.
5 minutes total. That was such a business execution.
Why? He just ran in and ran out
Yeah,
of there?
because I'm not David LaChapelle. David LaChapelle can do whatever he wants with him. He's David LaChapelle, so I'm the unknown guy. But,
Not
he
for
gave me
much
5
longer,
minutes.
Bjoern.
But I got my photos, and that was great. But I have to say, and then I have some random guy who shows up, like this Cameron Gigandit, for instance, like, whoa, let's do some photos. And
Let's show a
and
roster
then,
of some of his stuff. Can we just sort of just roll through it?
So, and yeah, there he was.
Oh,
that
adorable.
one. So, let's do some photos. And wow, what happened later on. First of all, the experience of shooting is so much more fun. It's private. You have conversations. You drive around town. It's so personable. You get to know each other. And all of a sudden you create this thing and it's kind of like a team effort. You're proud of it. That's what gives it a charm and gives it soul to that photo shoot. If you really collaborate on that level, that it's not just like walking in, hey, left, right, chin down, see ya.
So you also listen to the person that you're not listen, but you take the advice of somebody that you're shooting, or you prefer that they don't say much and they kind of listen to you.
They listen to me, and I use a lot of music.
I love. Oh, by the way, I love rap. Just so you know, I love like hip hop stuff. Just so you know, like Frank Sinatra's not going to do it for me. So if you really want to get me going in the studio, that's the kind of stuff you need to do. But I was asking Riley, our publicist, you know, well, what do I do? Do I take direction from him? Will he listen to me? So when I show up for you, because I'll be on your roster of well-known people that you're shooting, what will you do? I mean,
gang signs.
What I do love though is a good location. That sometimes if you take things out of context, out of the preconceived image of what you have and what you experienced before, like with you, most likely I will take you on location. I will have you walk. I will just walk that stuff out, and then first of all, just to get in a different flow of, because I think emotion comes from motion. If you just sit somebody down there, can happen, but if it doesn't, get out, fucking move.
You're a master with lighting too.
Thank
You're
you.
incredible. Do you bring lights with you or use natural stuff?
At the beginning, I only used natural light. So the goal was I looked at photos that really moved me that never had lighting. Like you look at Dennis Stock's photo of James Dean, they're on stamps, they're on posters. And there
they
was
are
it was
gorgeous.
just daylight. I'm like, why do I need, like Anna Leibovitz, like 5 assistants and 50,000 softboxes if I can create a beautiful, soulful image that might be on a stamp one time, just out there on the street? It's just a magic moment that counts. And not the lighting perfection is not it. When you shoot people, there's a narrative, there's a moment that really grabs you, and that's why you love a photo. And it can even have imperfect light instead of the too perfect image, which we see every day on billboards and whatnot. That bore me to death. I'd rather look at 90s Anton Corbijn grunge rock star images where the lighting is certainly not perfect, but the
That
image
stuff's
has
passe
soul.
anyway. Comic books have made the fully lit image passe because comic book artists do not draw fully lit people. They draw people who are lit naturally so that they can draw interesting images. So, I mean, I really think that mostly stylistically, that's like dead.
And I'm getting more and more into it, like watching TV shows based on comics like Gotham. I shot this girl, Ellen Holman.
Do we have her
Can
in
you
there?
pull it up? It's not in that folder. So
We'll find it. Maybe Riley will walk in here.
Yeah,
if he can hear me, and we'll find
Ellen
it.
Holman, there she is.
There she
So
is.
this, for instance, this photo was inspired by Gotham.
Gorgeous.
Gotham. I loved the visuals of Gotham. And I do screenshots sometimes of Jessica Jones. I just see a great frame. I freeze it on Netflix and I take a screenshot. And I get my inspiration that you bring up comics so much. And I love working with these people. There's a guy named Todd Stashwick. I think he should be in there too. He has worked on every show from
Please look
Heroes
through the 200
to Gotham
photos
to,
we have for you.
to 12. Right now he's on 12 Monkeys, and so he's huge in the comic book scene. And I learned so much, and I love to collaborate. I love the open-mindedness, the nerdiness. There's something to be said about that
I love what
whole
you just
genre.
said. The open-mindedness and the nerdiness, because there's a certain nerdiness to all this, because
Yep.
the passion brings that out. You study it. Do you know what I mean? And same with what you do.
Well, you have to understand, a mythology in order to understand some of these things, which is, I think, what's kept some people away for a moment. But that's what makes it so great when there's so much to obsess over. You want to create a project that leaves you with a lot of questions, leaves you with a lot of, inspiration of your own. Oh, what if they did this? What if they did this? What if they did that? That's a great fantasy superhero project.
There's a movement now in Hollywood that they're trying to understand actors, directors, creators, writers, voice people, photographers, that so many people in Hollywood, and follow me here, have ADD. And they get kind of a bad rap for that. But follow me now. if you don't have that kind of creativity where you can sort of bounce from thing to thing to thing, it almost strips you of being creative, because a creative person just has ideas in their head at all times. Do you know what I'm saying?
I'm one of those.
I am too. I've never been diagnosed or anything, but I'm pretty sure, because I always have ideas and thoughts in my head and they're bouncing around. But I think that makes for some of the best artists, don't you? I mean, clearly,
I think
just talking to you.
Great is to have a team that you also have a great assistant, for instance, who is just very calm and holds stuff together.
Right, and she can keep you balanced,
structures
or
it a
he.
little bit, and I would just throw ideas at him, and then some he would throw down, some we talk about, and then, but you need to follow through. It's nice to have ideas, but an idea without follow through is pop. It's just a bubble that pops and then it's gone.
Right, and then it's
So,
chaotic.
and then it's not manifested. So you want to create your stuff. So for that, the follow through. So get it done. Ideas. My mate has great ideas, but follow through on them. That is the point.
That is so important. You're
Well,
right.
and that's hard with ADD, but actually, this plays into the thing you got to realize about ADD and things of that nature is they also lead into anxiety disorders and depression. So,
because people don't understand.
Yeah.
They look at you and go, "Are you crazy?"
Well, because you are this creative, it also makes you able to find reasons to think that you're complete crap and
Well,
that you're
because I
worthless
think-
or things like that. You know, the more creative you can be about everything that you see in the world, the more creative you can be about how much you loathe yourself. And when you have this this cranking anxiety, which kind of tends to come along with the ADD, we live in a world where you don't get validated very often. It's so ridiculous how many brilliant musicians I know and how many brilliant writers and brilliant people who just they don't have that job that they should have where they could prove what they could really do. And then instead of going, oh, well, circumstance is in the way, people go, oh, I must
It's me.
fundamentally stink.
It's me. I
Yeah.
should take a pill and calm down.
Yeah.
And no, and because I was recently on a panel about something like that, because my really dear friend is one of the chief correspondents over at CNN. He worked with Obama, actually, following him around. And he, most journalists also are the same way. They're just bouncing around. And he's made it his mission to sort of study this, that in fact there isn't anything wrong with these people. They don't need pills.
My brother was highly medicated, and he is literally, as an adult, gotten himself off of everything.
That's important.
And he had difficulty eating. He had so many problems because of what they put him on, and none of the things fundamentally helped. A lot of these pills are Band-Aids for parents. It will make
So
it
agree.
seem like maybe
absolutely
it's
right.
helping your child on some way, but really it's dulling them in ways that you wouldn't like
And you
in how
can't
much
get
they
it, and you-
care.
No question.
And the
I
way
believe
they
that
work-
all these things, ADD is not a disease that's invented
not
in the
even- it's
80s
an
by some
invented
advertiser
term,
who went
too.
the pharmacy goes, hey, come out with the disease, and then we'll find the
There
cure.
is no doubt.
So in the 80s, so the advertisers go, oh, what does everybody have? Oh yeah, my mind's all over the place. I have a wandering mind.
Of
ADD.
course you are.
Oh, we
It's
can
because
sell you
school is
something. So
boring.
it's a very smart capitalistic move. Is it altruistic for the greater good move? I absolutely disagree. Rather do transcendental meditation, 20 minutes a day.
And walking. Go for a good walk, a good
Go
hearty
for a
walk,
good
a
walk.
hike.
Well, that's
if you
just
live
like
where it's
meditation.
raining all
It's
day.
like
Of course
meditation.
it is.
My wife likes to color.
Absolutely.
That's meditation.
Whatever it
You know,
is, if
anything
you're
that
painting,
can,
coloring, giving birth on the side of the road, whatever it is that, whatever calms you down, because clearly it calms her down and you too, but I'm just saying that's a whole movement that's going on where we're trying to understand more people from Hollywood, because that's what makes, not just Hollywood, but the whole creative element in society, that's what makes us all, I'll say all of us, so special. But just listening to you, I realized, oh, they're part of that really cool club too.
Well, and Hollywood is special from the rest of the country because we have an alternate option as well when it comes to the anxiety and depression, which is marijuana, which has been proven to be very, very beneficial to people with those sort of personalities. And we all
you
flock
smoke?
out here. I do now. I didn't as a child. I was straight edge until I was about 25. And around that time, I decided that it was kind of holding me back because I didn't socially drink. And I wouldn't, smoke weed or anything. And these are things that happen amongst groups of people, and this is why people hang out with each other sometimes. And I wasn't getting invited out. And when I started, it was really the moment where I realized that I had anxiety and I had depression. I didn't even know that I was dealing with something that was like a struggle. But when I finally felt it go away, I went, oh, wow, I don't have to live with that feeling? That's crazy. and it's a lot of people, if you're that sort of ADD personality, we meet each other all the time and we go, hey, you're one of those.
One of my comrades.
Yeah. It slows you down.
Takes
me
one
too.
to know one.
But again, no labels, but just hearing you talk about just how you do your art. I mean, it's clear that you're just so, you've got so many great ideas and thoughts in your head.
The funny thing
that
is,
you're
I don't
able
see it
to
as art.
execute.
I'm a craftsman. I show up for work.
I
show
view
up,
it that
you want
way
a photo,
too, yeah.
I do a photo. Like,
Craftsman,
if
yeah.
it's art, like I don't.
You're trying to
sometimes it's fun
find
to
the
look at.
art in what you've been presenting. You're given art, and then you got to try to make it even better.
Yeah,
Well,
the
because-
art is
Sculpt
the
it out,
person.
yeah.
But it's really for me. Like I see some people. I go to Semi's camera, and these guys like, oh, I'm an artist and whatnot, and they talk about all this stuff, and I know they do like
But see,
6
you're-
photo shoots a year.
Yeah,
I do
because
12 a week.
You know why? Because you don't talk about it. You just do it. Like you said, you're a craftsman, and through that is your art. You don't even need to talk about it.
I love the craft. I love doing it. And there's a lot of, especially when you shoot with people, there's a lot of psychology to it. And what I'm totally into.
To be one or to sort of learn?
I hire one because I have an ADD thing too, and I procrastinate. So at this
that's what
stage
makes
of the
you great.
game, I'm like, you know what? I need somebody on my team who every 10 days now for the next year is getting on me and helps me the way I try to help people in photo shoots, for instance. Some people are anxious or whatnot. Yesterday I had a client, he was very anxious. So all the neurolinguistic program is awesome. So just by the usage
What do you mean,
of
the
the word...
newer linguistic program?
So
What is
if I
that?
talk about the word confidence, and when I talk about the way you breathe deep, right now, see what you're doing? I just talk about it, and all of a sudden you focus on it, right? So
Yeah.
I can, when I use the word confidence and how good you are, and I invent a story that you sit at a poker table and you were 10 years old and your dad told you, oh, you're so good. So I create a story that you hear good, confidence. And then I force them, this kid sit like next to me in the car like this. So I asked him, please, can you please sit like this? Sit like a rock star. Because the body sends neuro messages to your brain. So now your brain feels like, oh, I'm confident. I'm comfortable.
And I'm
here.
relaxed.
So the body is your first access point. When you feel a little bit insecure, do what you do in a state of confidence. And if they can't do it, it's my job to help them to get there. I want you to lounge like a rock dude. Just hang there. You own this, right? It's all yours. And confidence is a word that they hear probably like 20 times, 30 times in the first 5 minutes. So in their brain, subconsciously, which is beautiful, the subconscious operates 98% of the time with whatever we do. So I try to inject
That's very wise.
very good stuff so that I want them to be at their best. When you're confident, you're playing around with me. When you're anxious, you're like trying to play it safe, right? So I love when people just do weird shit. Like, I'm
that'll be
inspired-
me. You don't have to worry about that.
And when weird shit happens, then I know they feel free, because the thing is, you will fail. You have to fail. I want you to fail 98% of the photos. I want them to be failure, but awesome failures, full on. Put that nail on the wrong thing, but do it confidently, because only then we tap into gold. When you're always, no, I'm not going to the right, I'm not going to the left, here's the safe middle, you will not have a genius photo.
This is great advice about how to live your life.
But it's true for those of us who are sort of, again, 5 more minutes? Okay. Oh my gosh, can we get whatever we need in 5 minutes? We can go on for
gotta own
5
it.
hours. You got to own it. But I love that that's how you approach your work. Instead
me
of,
too.
And I'm glad to hear this, because one thing Riley said was, he's sort of the master of his studio. And I thought, oh no, wait till he meets me, because I don't know what I'm going to feel like that day. I'm usually very flirty. And I'm probably going to have a really good time, because I'm very flirty. So just bring Joe into the studio and we'll be okay. I am. I'm really like that. I love sort of crazy wild music, and you can go to town on me right there. So I think it'll be a lot of fun. But you have to know your subjects, right? I mean, look at your dad, if you don't mind talking about dad for a minute. For goodness sakes, we have a shot of Dee Snider.
Of course.
I mean, come on. Wow.
He is photographable.
He's adorable, I guess.
He got a shot, this perfect shot of him jumping up in the air, like doing like a split, last week. And then literally like a day later, I do this performance at the Whiskey A Go-Go, and I jump off the drums, like off the top of the drums, and I get this picture of belly button down. And I'm like, see, well, if you're Dee Snider and you jump off something, they follow you. But I'm literally, where were you, Bjoern?
When that,
Yeah,
where
when-
was
when
I?
I jumped,
Where
you
was
should have
I?
ran in the room.
God damn it.
Got me.
Next time you'll be shooting him, both of them. You know,
Absolutely.
really, because that must be fun being with your dad on stage, huh?
Oh
Because
yeah,
he's
I've gotten to
also all
perform with him a
business.
bunch.
Yeah.
I actually had him. I surprised everybody because I fill in sometimes at the Ultimate Jam Night, which they do at Whiskey A Go Go. And for my second one, we did a Prince tribute, and I had him come out, but I didn't tell anybody. So I literally set it up with the band, set it up with
love
everybody.
that.
Got on stage, went, "Let me see if I can sing. We're not going to take it." Opened my mouth, and from the rafters, "Oh, we're not gonna take it." Like, oh, what's going on?
Oh,
That's
people
awesome.
must
It
have
was
just
awesome.
fallen over.
It was awesome. I mean, and in this little club environment, but it was packed, and like people were just so appreciative, and it was so unexpected.
One of my really good friends, she's one of the door girls there or something, and she's always telling me about working there. What a fun job she's got. She gets to meet all you guys and stuff. That's really cool. So wow, so you perform there often, or
Yeah, I
'Cause
perform with the
wanna know
Whiskey
next
at least
time.
like once a month or whatever. I just usually do cover songs, but now I've been doing a couple of my songs to promote my record that's coming out next month.
What is it? Tell us. Let's do a little promo here.
16. It's 16 songs that I've written over the past bunch of years, and 16 very different, interesting, kind of blues, rock inspired type stuff. And I've got a music video coming out on the 16th called Promised Land, directed by Oscar nominee John Hirschfeld. This is like long time coming, my first solo record.
So, where can your fans see you other than looking up the video of your wife giving birth in the car? Where can we find you to look at your work?
JesseBlaze.com is my website, and that has links to everything and all. And actually, you can listen to my whole album on the website right now for free.
And will you let me know, because I'm going to give you my info before we get out of here. I want to give you my phone because we would love to come and hear you at the Whiskey. That'd be so fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so you all know, I mean, I'm a professional. You've heard my stuff before and not known it. I have stuff on Monday Night Football, ESPN, A&E, Smithsonian Channel. Like my music is being used actively in the world, but I'm still an independent artist. I haven't gotten a major deal yet. I'm still doing this all on my own. But it's mainly so that I could control it, because I didn't like what everybody kept telling me about what I should do with my music.
And that's why you're going to be a success. I really do believe
Thank
this.
you.
Having been out here for a little while now, we came out here for my husband's work. He's on the radio out here. He's been a really successful radio guy for quite some time in Los Angeles. And there's just a method to it. And you stay with it, you stick with it, and you don't listen to somebody else. If your voice says this, you have to go with it. So that's going to be your success. And how can we find you? Well, first of all, I will be finding you.
You will find me in 4 weeks, yeah. And then you find me, the easiest is bkheadshots.com.
BK Headshots.
bkheadshots.com.
So other than headshots, don't you do, you work on film sets, you do all
and
kinds
this
of
is
stuff.
why I hired the life coach. Because I do these things. I went to Afghanistan in 2013. I came up with these amazing images that and I'm my harshest critic. I'm like, that totally holds up with National Geographic stuff, for instance. But I haven't done that much with it yet. So this is the plan for the next 12 months, so that you will find an exhibition of me with all those kind of photos and all these away from headshots, like just stuff that I love.
What you
know?
originally got into it for.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I have to hook you up with my friend Jeff Kravitz, because, like I said, he had another exhibit, and that was just in Silver Lake area. It was a really, really cool.
That's where I live.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I forgot the
I
name of the
live
gallery.
right by the lake, which
Jeff shoots like the biggest guys out there, and
Is his wife named Leahy?
no.
Okay.
Well,
How did I know him?
Julie, they live over in the Brentwood area, Santa Monica Palisades, that whole area. So he's a cool guy. I mean, sort of a really fun, cool,
Would love
edgy
to, yeah.
guy. Yeah,
Great.
but you would love him. You guys would connect immediately. So, okay, well, this is so much fun. Will you guys come back?
Sure.
You I'm going to
Absolutely.
see. You I want to see, and I'll just bring my people with me. So, congratulations on the baby,
Thank you.
and I want to have you back too. So, is that cool?
absolutely
Okay,
anytime.
fun. And just make me look gorgeous, would you please? So that won't be very hard, will it? I'm just kidding. No, but I'm not nervous at all to shoot with you. So
Good.
this will be fun. So okay, this is great. Anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in for a really fun edition of What's Up with Kobylt and Friends. We'll see you next week.